So this third section that we've titled in this podcast is a bit about your lifestyle. And if you're going to be a professional basketball player one day, some things that you'll need to make some adjustments to, if you're not already doing this, to your lifestyle and to consider. Starting firstly with how much basketball practice are you actually putting in? Now, that doesn't mean you're putting hours working on your jump shot in 2K on the PS5, Nick. Yeah, is that right? Every kid's now got a PS5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because I know kids go and they play a game, they go to training, they come home and they play PlayStation all day. And they go, this helps my game. I've heard that one, yeah, from my own kids. Yeah. Rubbish. Rubbish. Okay. I'm going to call you out right now. Okay. It's good fun and you're a basketball fan, but it doesn't help your jump shot in real life on a competitive game. So go out there and play some real 2K by going to the playground, putting on your snazziest threads that, you know, cost your parents real money, and bringing your basketball and whatever hairstyle you want to pick for the day, and find a pickup game, and that will help your game. Because the more you pick up a ball, the more you spend playing basketball and putting in the reps and all the things that you learn, the better your player you'll become. Okay. And whether you turn into a player like the professor, yeah, you know, the professor Nick, yeah, you know, he's he's not a pro basketball player per se, but he's obviously gone down a route where, you know, he's become an elite entertainer, I guess, in the basketball industry. Or whether you go down a route where you become a Harlem Globetrotter, or you play the NBA or somewhere else that we'll talk about down the track tonight as well, that every part of this helps you become a player when you go out there and pick up a ball in real life, okay, and shoot around against competition.
I guess you've covered a lot of the just playing, so I'll cover the more obscure stuff. Habits that are small end up equaling, something big by the end of it. So, if you practice your offhand dribbling for 10 minutes a day, which in an isolated moment is a very short amount of time, doesn't take too long. You could do it in between games of 2K if that's what gets you out of the house for 5 seconds. If you do that every single day, it's 70 minutes a week, right? Which is over an hour. And then it's essentially 4 hours a month. And then if I can do the quick math in my head, we're looking at close to 2 days of practice in a year on your offhand. And we don't want to encourage people to just spend 24/7 playing basketball, because there's elements that we'll cover in the next couple of sections that say that's not sustainable and it's not healthy. And everything needs time to recover and consolidate and kind of just happen gradually. We can't tell you right now, if you just start dribbling 10,000 times in a row, that you'll be a good dribbler by the end of it. It's not tangible like that. It takes a long time. It just takes a lot of things. There's a lot of variables that we can't explain. But creating little habits, right? Finding those extra times to do something and using it purposefully, right? So, all right, I can go in my backyard and shoot around for an hour, but did 50 minutes result in me lowering the ring to 6 foot so I could do lots of dunks? Because if it was, yes, you shot around for an hour, but it was not productive for most of it. All right. Or when you were shooting around, what were you practicing during it? Were you kind of like putting up game speed shots? Were you just putting up like weird lobs? Were you trying to do a finger roll from 10 meters away? There's lots of things that can kind of come into question with that. And depending on how serious you are, you have commitments, right? So we're talking probably to juniors at this point, but, homework, social groups, relationships, if you're choosing to have that at this point, additional sports, if you're playing more than one, tutoring for a couple of people, there's things that can take your time away from basketball. So that's the more reason why it needs to be productive. So if training is one of the only opportunities you get to pick up basketball and use it, then the lifestyle choice I'll talk about here is, are you focused during that training session? Or is it actually just like, hey, I'm seeing my friends and I'm going to talk to them the whole time? So, the old heads on new shoulders would say, use that time wisely, because it does run out eventually. And you only get a certain amount of window to really get these skills or get your experience before you've probably hit a ceiling.
Look, and I was thinking about this the other day, actually. I think if you're obviously a basketball fan, you're watching this podcast and, maybe getting something out of it. One of the greatest benefits of basketball is that you can really work on your individual game, despite being a team sport, as much as you are willing to put in the time and the effort that we're talking about. I think if you think about some of the other team sports, it's probably much harder, I would imagine, to work on, say, like your footy skills by yourself, or even like your cricket skills by yourself and things like that, because it's just not physically possible. You'd have to find a mate. Yeah, you'd have to find someone to come down. But with basketball, you can really just take your ball, and I'm going to say go down to the local park, because like you said, Nick, it's too often the temptation that you put that ring a bit lower at home, or you go, wow, I'm shooting really well on an 8-foot ring with a size 6 basketball. that you go to the park and you'll have a full court there, or full at least half court there, in most playgrounds around here, I guess. And you'll get the full basketball experience. Obviously, you'll get the conditions as well that you'll deal with being outdoors, but you'll get the full size scenarios. And you know what? Maybe you'll even find someone else that's shooting around too. And again, that's a perfect opportunity to sort of take your game and that practice and that opportunity, to one step further.